Allison, welcome to Math Bytes. We're working through an example of finding the x and y intercepts of a quadratic equation. The quadratic equation we're going to work with is y equals 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is find the x-intercepts. To do that, we're going to set y equal to 0 and then solve for x. So setting y equal to 0, I get 0 equals 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. I'm just going to write this in the other order so I can work from left to right. So rewriting, I have 3x squared plus 2x minus 1 equals 0. Okay, now at this point, I could use a quadratic equation, but this factors pretty easily, so I'm just going to go ahead and factor it. So factoring 3x squared plus 2x minus 1, I get 3x minus 1 times the quantity x plus 1 equals 0. Now, I have two factors that when multiplied together equals 0. So that means one or the other or both have to be 0 for that to happen. So I'm going to take each factor, set it equal to 0, and solve. Okay, so let's take the factor 3x minus 1 equals 0. All right, let's solve for x. I'm going to add 1 to both sides, so I get 3x minus 1 plus 1 equals 0 plus 1. Simplifying, that leaves me with 3x equals 1. The coefficient of my variable is 3, so I'm going to multiply both sides of the equation by the reciprocal of that coefficient. So on the left, I have 1/3 times 3x equals 1 times 1/3. All right, simplifying on the left. 1/3 times 3 just gives me 1. That leaves me with 1x, or x, is equal to 1 times 1/3 is 1/3. So I've got x equals 1/3. Okay, good. Let's do the other factor. X plus 1 equals 0. Okay, I'm just going to subtract 1 from both sides, and simplifying, I end up with x equals -1. Okay, so my x-intercepts are not x equals 1/3 and x equals -1. They are two coordinate pairs. My x-intercepts are 1/3, 0, and -1, 0. Those are the two x-intercepts for this equation. Don't forget, a quadratic equation describes a parabola, so it crosses the x-axis twice. In this case, at 1/3 and at -1. Okay, let's go back to our original equation and find the y-intercept. All right, our original equation is y equals 3x squared plus 2x minus 1. Now, to find the y-intercept, I'm going to set x equal to 0 and solve for y. So let's plug x equals 0 into our equation. We get y equals 3 times 0 squared plus 2 times 0 minus 1. Okay, let's simplify on the right there. 3 times 0 squared is just 3 times 0, which is 0. 2 times 0 is 0, so I end up with y equals 0 plus 0 minus 1, y equals -1. So my y-intercept is the point 0, -1. A little less work to do finding the y-intercept, not quite so much algebra. I hope that made sense to you. Finding x and y-intercepts isn't too complicated. You set one variable equal to 0 and solve, and then you set the other variable equal to 0 and solve. There's usually some algebra and some arithmetic involved, but it's not too bad. But always remember to express your answer as a coordinate pair. That's the right way to do it. That's it for this episode of Math Bytes. Why don't you let us know if you have a question you'd like answered or a topic you'd like us to talk about. We're at contactmathbytes@gmail.com, and we'll see you next time.